Hi, everyone. Welcome to Prevention Education, the podcast that teaches you everything about prevention. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Everyone, welcome back to another Prevention Education podcast. I am Kylie, and today I have Jessica with me. So, Jessica, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Jessica, and I am with the S.P.I.R.I.T program at Preferred Family Healthcare.
Yes, we absolutely love having Jessica on our team. She's a very valuable person on our team, and I know everyone that interacts with her has a blast. So, we are lucky to have you, Jessica.
Well, thank you.
Yes. So our fun question today is if you had 25 hours in a day instead of 24, what would you do with your extra time?
That's a good question. So I feel like we are so blessed to be doing the work that we do, just getting up every day, getting to interact with kids. And I feel like what we do is so vitally important. And so, 25 hours a day, I would get to one, be with the kids that I get to be with every day longer. And two, I would get to reach more kids because that's always our goal here for the S.P.I.R.I.T program is to continue to reach them, reach the most we can with the amount of staff that we have. And so that's always a dream of mine is to obviously reach more kids. So yes, I would definitely reach more kids and spend more time with the kids that we do get to serve.
That's an amazing answer. Amazing.
Well,
Mine is a little more selfish. I would probably just like spend an extra hour working out or like being outside in nature, going on a run or a walk. I absolutely love doing that. So I can't say I would do more of my job. I would
That is
probably
hilarious.
spend some me time. Yeah.
Yes, I do need some of that. And that would allow some time at the office to and some me time too. But
Yeah.
um,
Same.
yeah. And
I
I
like
was
that.
thinking of the question as like 25 hours like to work. So I guess I kind of took that a
Oh,
little different, but that's okay. Yeah. I was thinking
yeah.
like, but yeah,
I like your answer. It was perfect.
yeah.
So today, what we're going to be talking about is curriculum, and the curriculum that our Spirit team. And can you say what Spirit stands for?
School-based prevention, intervention, and resource initiatives.
Yes, perfect.
So we provide basically resources to school districts for students and staff. And that's kind of what we're here for.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about the curriculum that Spirit engages with and uses. And Jessica actually used to work on a different grant of ours too that used some curriculum as well. And so this will kind of be a catch-all for school-based curriculum and how you can use it, I guess, and how it
Yeah,
benefits the kids.
yeah.
So cool. Well, what curriculum would you like to start with? What is the one that you're kind of most passionate about?
I like a lot of our curriculums. The one I'm more familiar with would be the Too Good for Drugs curriculum that we utilize, both for the S.P.I.R.I.T grant and the PFS grant. So
Yeah. What is the main goal of that curriculum?
the main goal would be to reduce risk factors and increase protective factors, really mitigate those risk factors to help kids succeed, educate. It is a universal program. A lot of the programs that we use are universal. There is one that we use for more of a selected indicated population, but mainly it's a universal program that we use. And but yeah, that's the goal of the program is just to reduce substance use, misuse, and violence prevention.
Yes. And that's an evidence-based curriculum,
Yes,
correct?
yes, yep. Everything we use is evidence-based.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with the Too Good for Drugs, is this the one that has the stuffed animals for the younger kids?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I wish I had one. But anyway, yes, so kindergarten has, oh, it's so fun. The kindergartners have Tuggles, the teddy bear, and then first grade has Carmen the cat, and then second grade has Wags the dog. Now, third grade, they have like a robot, which they quit producing the robot. So shout out to the Mendez Foundation. I am so sad. There was a lot of issues with our robot, but it was a big robot that you could move around, and the kids absolutely loved it. Now they just have
Wow.
a poster instead of Otto, which is not near as engaging,
Yeah.
um, but we still have a robot, so we'll still use it until our robot actually gives out. It is hard to transport school to school, but it is fun and the kids love it. But yeah, and then fourth and fifth grade, they don't have anything. Of course, at that age, the kids don't care about that stuff. And even in second grade, you would think, oh, they don't think puppets are real. But I get the question sometimes. Now, Wax isn't real, is he? And so it's so cute, like even little second graders that are so sweet and innocent still. And but yeah, they love our puppets. And if you come to a lesson without one of those puppets, then they don't really care about you. They just care about the puppets.
That's hilarious. Wow. But I mean, that shows you that it's working, right? It shows you that
Yes,
they're engaged and they look forward to that time of learning and that they
yes,
remember it, which is really cool.
yes. So you walk in the halls at some of the schools that we've used them at, and they're like, even the second graders, like, "Hi, Carmen," even if you see them in the hallways, or "Hi, Tuggles," and so it's cute that they, can see that. And
Yeah. Do each of them have the same plan or are the plans different based on your grade? Does that question
so
make
like let
sense?
like the like lessons, like are the lessons similar?
Yeah.
So yeah, kindergarten, actually, the whole Too Good for Drugs program, kindergarten through high school, is the first 5 lessons are very, very similar. And so you have goal setting is lesson one, always decision making, lesson two, um, goal setting, decision making, and managing emotions, effective communication, and then we go into peer pressure. And they're like it's the same lesson all the way through the whole curriculum. However, it's obviously different activities and it's worded a little different. Everything is developmentally appropriate for that age, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
um, now, kindergarten, when you get into the drug education lessons, which are the last 5 skill development lessons, kindergarten through fifth will get like medicine safety, but nicotine use starts in second grade, and then alcohol use starts in third grade, and then marijuana starts in fifth grade. And then they do talk about, like in middle school and high school, they talk about other risky substances. In the high school, they kind of talk about opioids, stimulants, street drugs, those kind of things.
Okay. Um, when you were explaining all of that, a question popped into my head that we've actually gotten before, just as a prevention department. And it's when you're teaching this curriculum and pretty much teaching about certain substances, how how do I phrase this question? Um, I guess, or when you introduce it, are you making them think more about it in a positive way and a negative way? So, like, when
Hmm.
you're telling them
Yes.
about it, you know what I'm trying to ask?
Yep. So we don't do scare tactics. They do not work. They've been proven they don't work. We go into giving them the information and we word it the way that the Too Good for Drugs program words it, because that's the evidence base, right? We want to follow the script. Obviously not reading word for word from the script, but you want to be able to stay on topic and follow the script because it's designed developmentally appropriate for that age, and you don't want to give them too much information or not enough information at certain ages. And so you have to word it as in it's affecting our health and what it can do to our health versus, and so absolutely. And I hope that every student takes that as, this is dangerous for me. And we do talk about alcohol, is the number one use substance, and a lot of adults use it. Kids see their parents using it. So it's really hard because you're like, well, my mom does it or my dad does it. Yeah, but then you go into, because it talks about, hey, Miss Wolf said that you have to be 21 years or older because your brain is still growing. And this is what the curriculum also says, and so you have to kind of sometimes reword things again, or say it a couple times for them to really understand, that alcohol is not safe for, fifth graders because your brains are still developing. And that's why it's harmful, because, you know, it's not fully developed. And so you can kind of go into that. But yeah, that is a good question. But yeah, that's why you really stick to script. And that's why it's so important that you don't give them too much information, or you don't try to word it in how you feel like, because you can get some backlash there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So pretty much giving them the information that they need to know that's developmentally appropriate in order for them to make the healthy decisions that they need to make on their own throughout their lives.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And it will
Okay.
stick with them, and we really talk a lot about every time, like every Too Good for Drugs lessons has peer pressure. So that's good, because then you can talk about, okay, well, so if someone offers you this, what peer pressure strategy could you use? And just practicing those, because then it can become more natural versus kind of weird and awkward in the moment when you're pressured to use a substance that you don't want to use, or do
Yeah.
something, may not be a substance, maybe it's just a dangerous activity. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, very true. With this curriculum, is it only presentation based, or are there books, DVDs, anything that parents can get to kind of work on the same stuff at home?
So we do have like home workouts every time. I'll be honest, we're not very good at sending them home with the middle school, high school, because typically they don't get home. Elementary, we do have home workouts that if parents, we always send a letter to um, the parents at the beginning of the year, every school year, every school that we're at. And so like they can request the home workouts, so we can send 1 through 10 with them. We can scan it to them, email it to them, or print it out and give it to the student if they request that. Um, but yes, that would be something to kind of help with at home and reiterate what we're teaching at schools and inside the schools. Um, now, now there are also additional support for teachers. And so sometimes we give those to counselors. Hey, if you have an issue with this, or you see this happening, this lesson is all about, goal setting or decision making or managing emotions, or, tobacco, or so the counselors and teachers can also kind of help us with that as well if they find that they need additional support.
Okay. That's cool that you get pretty much everyone involved in it, teachers, counselors, students, and then an outside entity, which is you guys, just to kind of show
Yes.
these kids that their community cares about them and the adults care about them and their future. And I think that sends a really positive message to them.
And it can be tricky. You know how teachers, they're so incredibly busy. They have
Yeah.
so much on their plate. Us finding time to even come into their classroom is getting harder and harder every single year. And so, what our biggest goal is to make our time the most valuable it can be, because, we are so thankful for them to let us come in and to, try to have an impact on these students. And so that's why when we're there, we have to be on our A game, because we need to reach these kids. And I know school and academics are so incredibly important too. And so finding that balance is gets harder and harder every year.
Yeah, of course. I can definitely see that. Um, how many, or I guess, if there's a school that wants this curriculum, how would they go about getting the Too Good for Drugs curriculum?
So they could reach out to us at moprevention.org. They can reach out to me, jwolf at pfh.org. But we do have some funding available for people that want to implement the Too Good for Drugs curriculum. It is a universal curriculum, kindergarten through high school. We have a PFS grant that can also provide support for that. Our S.P.I.R.I.T grant can provide support for that. Um, so always contact us regardless. No question is a dumb question, because or no ask is a dumb ask, because we try so hard to uh, reach as many kids as possible. So yeah, and they won't regret it, because I'm telling you, I love the curriculum. I love teaching it. I love implementing it. I love the kids are engaged in it. And so yeah, they can reach
It's
out to us.
Yeah, it's really easy to see that you're very passionate about this topic in your job. I mean, you
I am.
included it in your extra hour, so obviously you love it.
Exactly, exactly.
So other than Too Good for Drugs, what's another curriculum that is really good out there.
So one of the schools that we have that we've done for years, ever since we've started the Spirit program, what in I think 2002, don't quote me on that, but was Peace Builders. And we use that at one of our school districts, and it's more of an environmental change kind of curriculum where there's common language that you use with the curriculum. You go over the 6 different principles, you teach, you model, and you engage students in that. It's more for all staff engagement, so it's a little bit more tricky. But I go in and implement lessons twice a month per grade for that curriculum, and it's praise people, give up, put downs, seek wise people, notice hurts, right wrongs, help others. And so that kind of helps with and then of course there's a couple months that I have that I can talk about how to build peace at home, at school, and in your community. There's a pledge they say every day at school, and so it's really fun. And so I love this curriculum because it really does give me kind of free range to create lessons based on those 6 principles. And the curriculum also has lesson ideas to really engage the students. But and it's also it's not only on me, but it's on the school and the staff. And so it does make it more challenging to get them involved. But if everyone's using that peace builder language, and you will see the environment shift and change into a more peaceful place at home, at school, and in your community. So it's not all about just school environment, it's about your home environment and your community environment. And so whenever we do a lesson, we always talk about, well, okay, well, how can you do this at home? How can you do this at school? How can you do this in your community? And so this is my first year really teaching the Peace Builder program. And so I do like it a lot. But that's kind of what it's about.
Yeah. So coming off of the Too Good for Drugs program, what's kind of the difference between these two programs?
The main difference is one is lesson based. And so it's all like Too Good for Drugs, you teach 10 lessons and you're done. Too Good for Drugs, we're kind of using it as lesson based, but it's more of an environmental change where it involves the entire school. So it involves the teachers teaching those lessons, reinforcing those 6 concepts and those principles, and really giving up put down. So when they see a kid giving a put down, now wait a minute, one of our peace builder pledge and our principles say you shouldn't give up put downs, we should praise people. So let's praise this person, let's not give up put downs, and using that language every time. Oh, did you notice that they were hurting? What can you do when you notice a friend's hurting? Or right now this month we're talking about helping others, and how can we help others, and how can we show kindness, and how does kindness help others, and what can we do to build that, and how that really does build peace at home, at school, and in your community. And so it really is the whole environment having to change, which is very, very challenging. Like we talked about earlier, teachers are busy. They are finding one more thing for them to have to do is challenging. So I teach it, and I do more of an kind of a lesson base, because we do lessons every, twice a month with these students per grade level. So it is different. It's more of an environmental change, kind of like a Leader in Me, or we kind of do, and it goes hand in hand with PBIS as well, positive behavioral intervention support. So we kind of combine Peace Builders and PBIS at the school. But anyway, it is different, but it's a very good program with really good results if done effectively.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing program. I didn't know much about that one, so I'm glad that
Yeah,
I'm learning about it because it sounds
yeah,
amazing for really everyone involved. Because if you
yes,
teach the kids, and if they're adults that they look up to every single day are also showing them how to go through this program and curriculum and being good role models for them, and
yes,
they can take it home and apply it to really every single part of their life, which is when you look at evidence-based practices, like those have the most impact
yeah,
because you're not only applying it to one situation in one classroom, you're applying it to sports, to clubs, to family, to
yes,
friends, to everything around you. So that's a really it sounds like a really awesome curriculum.
yes. I
Yeah.
really do like it. I really do enjoy it.
Yeah. So when you go in and teach it twice a month to each grade, is it kind of an assembly-based presentation, or is it smaller classrooms that you spend your
Smaller
time
class,
in?
smaller classroom. So I would do it just like I would the Too Good for Drugs. I go into second grade for 30 minutes. I have 30-minute lessons, kindergarten through fifth grade, and I get each class. So grade, each class I get twice a month. So each student will see me twice a month, regardless of what class they're in. So one week I'll have like kindergarten A, and the next I'll have kindergarten B, and then the next I'll have kindergarten A group, kindergarten B, or and so but I do teach like every month is its own principle. So like this month is help others. So the whole month of March was help others. So all my lessons, kindergarten through fifth grade, was about helping others. And so I just do different activities on how to reinforce that and model that. One of the things we did, which I thought was fun, we did this year was showing kindness. Second grade, we talked about showing kindness and doing stuff, even giving a smile to someone can help someone, right?
Yeah.
Stuff that's free. And so what we did was we printed off these kindness bookmarks. They got to color them. I laminated them, and then they got to hide them in the library because after my second grade lesson, I have kindergartners. So we hid them, and then they colored them for the kindergartners to find, and then they gave them a bookmark. But so we hid them in the library, and then I brought the kindergartners in. I'm going to do it again tomorrow, but no, today. Sorry, today. I'm off. I'm thinking it's Monday. So I am going to go in there in the kindergarten. Once I have the kindergartners, I'm going to go and they're going to search for a bookmark. And we also talk about, sometimes we don't have to let others know who it was from. It can be a surprise, and so that's something that we did this year that I think is fun and more engaging with the students because they're practicing it. And not only am I just talking about it, but we're doing it. And so that's something that we're going to do today, which I'm excited about. We did it last week with the other second grade and kindergarten classes, so I get to do it again. But
Yeah, that's so cool. That made me so
yeah,
happy just to hear about that. Because then
yeah,
if you said second graders, right?
yep. Mhm.
If these second graders see the kindergartners around or they like see their bookmark, then that makes them
Yep.
feel so good that they did
Yes.
something for someone else, which is so
Yes.
cool.
And I'm glad you brought that up because we talk about like helping others. It actually helps yourself, like, and how important it is and how you feel so good when you help others. Um, and so, yeah. And we talk about helping yourself too, because self-care is important as well. And so, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything else, curriculum wise, another curriculum, or anything else to say about these two curriculums?
No, I don't think so. We have a couple other curriculums, and we can go into those another time. But no, those are the two main curriculums that we utilize, kindergarten through high school. But yeah,
Perfect. Well, I know I learned a lot about these two curriculums and I think I love them. I think they're really awesome just based
they
on
are.
what you described and the activities that they do. I think it's really cool. And so thank you to you and your team for going out in the community and doing this. I know it's making a huge impact. So thank you. And if you could leave our listeners with kind of one statement, what would it be to help them have a lasting impact with this podcast?
So, just be that caring adult, build those assets in kids. I love the 40 developmental assets. If you don't know what those are, please research them. They're amazing. But building assets in kids, and reducing those risk factors and increasing those protective factors, but just be that caring adult because that's really what they need. Um, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's well said. So for our listeners, if you have any questions specifically for Jessica, feel free to email her at jwolf@pfh.org. Yeah, .org. Or feel free to email moprevention@pfh.org and we'll send her your email as well. And also feel free to visit pfh.org/prevention and you can find Jessica's information on there along with her grant information as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. We hope that you guys listen to other prevention education podcasts and we can't wait to talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into our podcast.
Remember to follow us on social media at PFH Prevention. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Spotify, and more podcasting platforms. And make sure to email us at moprevention@pfh.org with any questions, and feel free to call us at 660-627-7404. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.